Okay, so here's your next challenge. Find a spot with flowers and count up how many flowers there are, and if you can, use the iNaturalist app to try to identify what type of flower they are. I just figured out that this is an imperial lily, which is really pretty. If you sit here for a couple minutes, what do you think you're going to see? You might see some bees and other insects come by and visit the flowers. I want you to think about, why might bees visit these flowers? And if we take a close look, and each one of you, I want you to do this as well, take a look at a flower and identify the different parts. So you'll notice on these imperial lilies, what does that look like way in there? That's actually some drops of nectar. And so bees and birds and insects really want to drink that nectar, and they're going to crawl on in there. And as they're crawling in there, they might brush up against bees. And can you see that when I touch them like that? What happens? That's the pollen. So this is called the anther. It's the male part of the plant. The pollen is kind of like similar to human sperm. They gather that on their legs and then they go visit another plant. When they do that, some of the pollen from the last plant will hit the stigma, which is on the inside. Okay, wait, so you can see if you pull apart all the anthers. Oh, this is really cool. Okay, can you get in there and see this? This is called the stigma. So on the top is the really sticky part, and the sticky stigma, it's gonna stick the pollen there. And the pollen's gonna travel down this thing called the pistil, and it's going to go to the ovary. And this is the female part of the plant. Okay, and the ovary then, when you have the seeds, when you have the pollen and the mixes with the ovary, you're gonna form a seed. And that is how a plant reproduces. So, sit down for 5 minutes, record what you see, and upload it to the Sunflower Project, and the link will be in the description. When you upload it there, you're becoming a citizen scientist. You're collecting data for everybody to benefit from. Why do you think we care to know what bees are visiting a plant? Every third bite of food you can thank our bee friends for pollinating those crops. But it always hasn't been a happy story for the bees. In 2006, we started to notice that a lot of colonies were collapsing in something called colony collapse disorder. And in addition, pesticides and lack of habitat, destruction of habitat by building houses have led to a decrease in bees. So scientists want to know, where are the bees at, and you can help in determining that for them. So have fun on this challenge, get to know your bee friends, get to know the flowers, and if you want to, the next activity you can do is make a little bee water. Fill a shallow tub with some gravel and fill that with water, and your bees will be able to come in and take a little sip of water. But make sure not to fill it up too high, otherwise they'll drown. All right, have fun, good luck. Can't wait to see what you find. Oh yeah.
Let's dive in a little deeper. The story of flowers goes back 140 million years ago. The first plant to produce a flower was probably pretty simple, with just 3 white petals. This successful adaptation made angiosperms, or plants that produce flowers, very successful, and they account for 90% of all plants. Plants that don't produce flowers are called gymnosperms, and they have naked seeds, like pine trees. Ferns are another type of plant that doesn't produce flowers. Try this simple experiment at home. You can dye different flowers and change different variables. For example, try figuring out the effect of different colored dyes or different length stems. Friends helping friends. The flowers and the pollinators have evolved to help each other out. Biologists call this co-evolution. Both flowers and pollinators have special adaptations that allow them to work together to survive, like these butterflies, which have excellent eyesight to see bright colored flowers. Bats are pollinators as well and have this other really cool adaptation. Watch.
He is running using, and I didn't actually tell you guys about this, but bat wings are just modified hands. And so he is running kind of on the area of his hand where you would have your thumb and kind of that thick part at the base of your thumb. That's the surface he is mostly running on.
Whoa.
And then his little feet, which are tiny, tiny, tiny little feet, you can see down there.
Yeah, bat are really small.
The yucca moth lays its eggs in the flowers and pollinates it so that it makes seeds. In the springtime, when the larvae hatch, they feast on the seeds.
Everybody, this is a moonflower. It's open because it's nighttime and it attracts these little tiny ants. Come out at night. There's the moon.
Thanks for joining me on this lesson. I hope you learned a lot and you take time to smell the flowers. Be curious, take notes, and have fun.